Okay, abusia. Yɛbɛma bibia akwaba stronko so aba number 1 political channel POG Media. So make sure sa afei ana se waba obe like na wa subscribe na afei so tuma share dwumadi no. Ama foforo so sa atumi aka, and please kindly click on the notification bell so ama brand no any political update be beto channel no so bia no. Onso onsa atumi aka na wa share na afei so asan so atwe wa adwene. Afei yɛmbɔ nra yɛnsɛm nim ne yɛmfa ensɛm dodo na embrɛw. Abusia Ashanti regional chairman Wontumi ne ho asa akọ kedwe mene wo kasei eyade a EOCO for abawura Wontumi garage akọ sizi ne cars mako 15 abusuya enye asem kuma chairman Wontumi 18 issue. According to Chairman Wontumi, I said the cars na nyade a St0lěn cars no nimboni a odi aye Ghana ase EOCO for atu omoni e de asini so abusua enda me no kasei Wontumi 15 cars ache se Rolls Royce, Bentley and Land Cruisers cars akukudam akese nkwa na jese me no kasei EOCO for akọ season Wontumi garage abusua enye asempuma na me waste time no person ba me akone akwakuti ensem no mu bi na asena bekono se dwumadi onya like me show so be like share ma foforo nsa into me enkabi medamase.
Land Cruiser 13 other luxury cars Wontumi claims the Ashanti governor st0rm the Ashanti governor Wontumi say EOCO for ebo modern SCZ ne Land Cruiser ne Rolls Royce ne Bentley and ne 13 other luxury cars. Just say cars in the aya season no cars no edoso bebrebe. Na asem we aba no question aye bisa ne say Wontumi edien ena waya edien na waya yes easy okas okas no genuine cars ana genuine cars. The Ashanti regional chairman of the MPP, Chairman Wontumi, has claimed that the Economic and Organized Crime Office EOCO has seized 15 of his luxury vehicles. What to go over 15 cars and yet enkwada cars and so kwanya lead to the fee. They na national security for call say omuhwehwe Wontumi no kwanya na eda ne fee. Enkrofo abetina power for 80 years Wontumi ankasa ne fie kwan want manye emfuturu kwa onwa ne fie kwan want manye ne 15 cars. Speaking in an interview on Addo FM, the MPP regional chairman asserted that his vehicles had been seized by the security agency for no reason. Wontumi say omanya seize cars no for no reason. Just say engineer so bia ni wa omagina so aye den e dia seize cars no. Onye hwe onye obi boni bibia nsi ye ya nya sheda seize cars no for nothing. He said that he bought the vehicles from a legitimate car dealer who had paid all the required fees. And he was saying, "Auto car no free. Car dealer or a legitimate what as a car dealer or a legitimate car dealer or a day or a najumayi our nyaza. I have been quiet. As we are talking now, 15 of my cars have been confiscated by EOCO. I bought all the cars from Bright Sick. Bright Sick is close to the MPP office at Asalam Dam. Just saw to cars in free Bright Sick or Bright SIC. Na baby or one any Asala friends and or more MPP officer was Asalam Dam and what. He has the right registration. He paid the port fees and everything. My Bentley, Rolls Royce, my Land Cruiser, have been taken, but I've been quiet because I don't want to be talking about my own issues, he said. Or see, every fee bia SSA, Mr. Bright, etuya biano, or tuya report. Yeko yikas ne bano or be tonga. E kabia, e baby krana. Me am bizamunza en kran ye tonkas because me life mu me nimbe be tonkas wa kran. I'll be honest with you. Me life mu nyina me nimbe be ye tonkas e wa kran. I don't know. Serious. So sometimes last night me be so busy anti akra ye tonkas and I craft from bridge. Oh you see yes. Ya wa baby be ye tonkas one kind. Yeah, many places. The balcony was a salam down. Or say, Saka dealer, we know. Or yet, or yet, Najuma. Come, pa. Ah, why then? Or 3 port fees, everything is intact. I won't need any problem. Or say, he paid the port fees and everything. My Bentley, Rolls Royce, my Land Cruiser have been taken. But I've been quiet because I don't want to be talking about my own issues, he said. And say, Wontumi say, Yajini Bibia, the cars, and everything 15 cars, EOCO for fun. But I did him because on one instant, no better can. He added, I want to end this conversation here. One day God will speak for me. And then they only me nyame. Wontumi wa free power and wouldn't me nyame. Me why? Afedie chairman Wontumi ni Nyankopon. God will speak for you. It is not clear whether the seizure of the vehicles has to do with Wontumi's recent detention by EOCO. The Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Justice St0rm, disclosed that the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Opposition MPP, better than Siakun, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, is under investigation for multiple criminal offenses. These include fraud, causing financial loss to the state, and money laundering. In a statement posted on social media on Thursday, 29th May 2025, Justice St0rm disclosed that Wontumi, who had been in the custody of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, since Tuesday, was also implicated in a second strand of investigation linked to broader international organized crime scheme. So, where you Wontumi amanie tamana ye kwa kotua barana or to reduce so to show the strength and the power na or cheno maybe got them say St0rm they don't have anything to know or money back she ni kutreyem to me now one no sa to me no ena dada wo they have nothing omuni hwi to me no munya ena dada wo Nkrofo we ko opposition no afere wa hun say omumu aye hata kwanza omumu aye hata ene Wontumi kasa obre no ase tama na omuwa power no ti na se ne na okasa tumi kwatina TV so to show the strength and the power. Could you say it's left with your procures to be seized? Eric Addo said you are incredibly fortunate that thieves are allowed to return their stolen goods and avoid punishment. It seems that in Ghana the privileged elite behave like outlaws, while ordinary citizens face prosecution for minor legal issues. Tom Benito say that they have seized your stolen luxury cars. Gaglo said, what are you doing with 15 luxury cars? Uncle Sohini said, don't worry, Ibrahim Company will seize it. But I didn't mean to ask you. Papa cars me brisa, all the other. Back soon out to them. A yet Benya, 15 cars no, wouldn't mean training at the same time. Saka now was Ukuram. Say, Uchi, after a yard fa. Na odi abesia ko sua Men so mete taxi mo ameduru. Yeah. Mete taxi mo ameduru. Me nyina use fuel. Ni nyina use fuel. Ete se wasi fi kakraka. Obi wa wasi mansion a dime bebre. But that dime ba komo. Baby kitu abi. Japadi ayaya yesisi fi akese nyina no. Baby a woda no. And do the space of toilet. And do the space of kitchen. Baby a woda no so wasi mansion. Cars bebe na wo no ba ko pe na wotinam. Wontim tina car na ba ko biya mu for at the same time. Sa de no ya menim eye ya ni brew se de anyu cars bebe sa mu de yeden why na we nu na no mu discano ya chi we na obi ti baby say free Wontumi on casa o body casa on fa wani hunda. I'm talking to MPP for no MPP mbabunu no casa on fa wani huye. The cars you have not seen it in your real life before. Sa cars no and now bubo na ya chi we na free him. Aila
disappoint me, I'm dead. You know, so those are the idols I grew up with.
All you have?
You're all I have at this time. but it's refreshing to me that you stayed authentic, I must say. I've watched so many of your interviews and the people you bring on that you have consistently kept a moral sense of clarity about. They've always said you shouldn't meet your idols, right? But even before meeting in person, I've kind of grown up now and then met you, seeing you stay, even as you have moved on from the art form of stand-up comedy and doing other things, it has stayed consistent, you know. And I'm very appreciative of that, and I really like that.
Well, so now to my question: did you almost hit a coup?
Alright, St0lėn movie and EOCO and show you media like ya like subscribe to the channel now so share you media no ma for instance into me and kebi abusia lawyer Oliver Baka Vomawo and so Edin Sembi Atwasua mem waste time krana me pese mo bamiako ne akwakuti Oliver Baka Vomawo ekwanya na chese under Akuffo government Oliver chese mo plan say anka omoba aba yiku ede etia eye na nado dan Akuffo abusia mo mienko ne nkonkuti.
So it's a good segue for that question because when we started doing what we were doing, the government then convinced itself that we're interested in regime change, you know, violent regime change. And it was almost farcical to me, you know, that, you know, I was never seen a gun or held a gun before. And so many young people who were nowhere near the army were being accused of wanting to overthrow the government. So I then decided to be satirical about it. So I would write posts and say, Mamiku, 2 cedi, Gary, 1 cedi. So it was always mocking it. You know, I was mocking the system. And so I was creating absurdity of it all the time. So I wrote a lot of these posts. And the absurdity that the government would try to run away from scrutiny by hiding around the idea that we're trying to do coup seemed to me infantile. And coup was being instrumentalized as a scarecrow. And so that's what it became consistently. Anytime the government would do something, I'll write some funny take about, if I was ready, I would have already done the coup already. And that's what it is. So that I wrote that I would do the coup myself. And the government knew that this has been consistently what I'm saying. Or that the coup happened in Guinea, and I'll write, I welcome the coup in Guinea. And I'll see government officials in my inbox, what are you talking about? I'm saying, but I am talking about Guinea. And already I could smell their fear about it. And I became interested in the idea that, so all the things we're doing, they didn't really seem to care. But when it threatened their hold on power, they were worried about. So I mocked them more as a tease would, right? And so, I mean, and I hope that perhaps that's what you are, that I think the persons who find comedy in many things enjoy the art of the tease. So for me, it became that, the art of teasing the system consistently. And of course, they have power. They do with power what they want to do with power. And they chose that incident, but they could have chosen anything. As we saw subsequently, they chose me driving and said, failure to observe road marking, where there was no road marking. They could create anything, you know. But they chose that for themselves. And they were entitled to. I don't think I'm the kind of person that would survive.
I was really wondering, for real? You believe that he's ready to throw? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, so many people saw the mockery out of it.
Yeah.
But they went out of their way to sell it. Even in terms of last, Stop Galamsey protest that we did, that they arrested us, they actually convened a meeting of journalists where they told journalists that they have evidence that I'm being sponsored by Russians. Completely made up, yes. And these were senior journalists in this country who had a meeting with the Ghana Police Service, Interior, Attorney General, where this one was being pushed up. Thankfully, a number of them took them on in that meeting, and eventually we came to find out that these were the kind of messaging that they were putting out. So what we are up against, I mean, we laugh about it when we talk, but there are people who are invested in making sure that the status quo remains and will go out of their way to make sure. And that's one of the things perhaps I was naive about. I was naive about it in the sense that I believe that, of course this is a democracy. Of course our laws will protect us and things like that. And so, because in many respects, when I was in Ghana, I never came of age in terms of becoming more vocal and pushing back against the system. I developed that in the US, in graduate school in the US, and leading protests and things like that. But I was coming to a different social environment where people wielded power and made no apology to a faith. They breached the law and there was no consequences for it. So, because that social reality had not dawned on me, I did so many things out of naivete in believing that, maybe things will be fine, people will be fine. But at some point then it became a crusade for me in realizing that, things were worse than I thought they were. But if they are this bad, then it's not a reason to cower. Because so many people tell me, this government is so vindictive, so you have to keep quiet. Yeah. And I say to them, no. The more vindictive the government is, the more we have to fight back against it. Yeah. So that's what it became for me. That because you're trying to destroy something that should be beautiful, we must fight against you more. Yeah. So while I was held, my passport seized, and I was kept here, I was like, okay, give me more reason to mobilize people and continue to protest against you. And that's what I eventually ended up doing. Yeah.
And so gave you, somewhat reshaped you, because you came out and you realized the extent of the rot.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely. I became quite, I understood the lengths at which they would go. And perhaps for so many of us who came of age in the Fourth Republic, we have been sold the Kool-Aid that, you're a democracy. At least when you didn't have a democracy, then you have the support of the world, where it's like, okay, it's a military regime, so therefore it's a shortcut to violation of rights. And for which reason you find more international solidarity for the things you say against the government and things like that. But when you have, something like Ghana, for instance, everybody says, across Africa, everybody says, this is a democracy. But it's also a democracy in a facade, right? It's almost like it's wearing a mask over there's no abuse that our elites cannot get away with in Ghana. If you take even what happened to Bongo Ideas, that somebody can be kidnapped and, beaten and left somewhere on the road, you would think that these are things that do not happen in democracy. But there's not a single thing I don't think that our elites can get away with. So I don't really see it. It exists in rhetoric. It exists that it allows us to comfort ourselves and sustain the legitimacy of the system. But when it's cracked beneath the surface and in fact come against interests that be like, okay, you're going too far, they'll remind you and show you that you're actually going too far.
They'll show, Ghanaians will say, they show where power lies.
They show you where power lies, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. Have you learned anything from where power lies that has made you more defiant?
What I think I have learned the most from this is to be willing to forgive and let go. Because if I harbored the pain of so many things that happened to me and experiences I went through, the fears I inhabited, my family, the fact that for so long I couldn't even rent a place, I was hiring short-term rentals from place to place because I was uncomfortable with people, the government knowing where I lived, the fact that people constantly followed me. If I kept that, I don't think I can function. So
how do you exercise that from you? Does it not keep haunting you?
No, from time to time it comes back. I mean, you can't get away with it. But the human mind has an amazing capacity to heal. If you let it, if you get out of its way, it will find you. And also being fixated on certain things. I find that a lot of the times people who are going through the most trials are able to find peace in, say, religion. You know, I lost religion many years ago. That I find it in principles and believe that good will come out of this and that there's a purpose to what we're doing and all of those things. Those things make me want to keep trying and keep staying, and I need to be there for the long haul.
And I know you're trying to forget and move on.
Yeah.
What one or two things that you think you're happy with yourself for having let go, that you know if you had it, it would have traumatized you for longer?
Mufa, the previous government kept me in cells at a shaman and planted an individual with a knife in the cells and poisoned bread in the cells. Now, it may sound like movie, but we sued the government, and the government admitted to the facts in court.
That they gave him
that
a knife?
They said that they only put somebody there undercover to keep watch on me within the cell. They planted somebody in there. And the reason why we know this is that the day the incident, I was in there, a gentleman was brought in, and I looked at the demeanor of the individual, and I told the other cell guys that I think this guy is national security. Now, the good thing for me is that, I'm not biblical, but, when you look at the story of, I think Daniel, who then was protected with the lion. Once I got in there, these persons who wanted to rough me up and show me where power lies found out that I was a lawyer, and everybody wanted to come to me and tell me their problems and how you can help them and things like that. So then they gave me a place to stay, to sleep, because the leaders keep for themselves half of the cell, and then the rest are pushed and packed like sardine to the other last half, some in the bathroom.
Who decides who the leader is?
Those who have been there for long, and those who are. Sometimes there can be a coup in there, where like a big tough guy comes and then beats up and deposes you.
Okay, obviously, just when some course or political hiring, such as a chairman Wontumi, a Jakunichi, Menawaka say, EOCO SCZ chairman Wontumi, ne 15 luxury cars, Bentley, Land Cruisers, Rolls Royce, just a cars, Akasiakasi and Kuana, EOCO SCZ, according to EOCO report, no, a much as a dark cars and a more season, a far a stolen cars, and also chairman Wontumi, or say any stolen cars, a bushia news for Frobia Bo, ba, a for dancing way, yet a beba about. Me the mobesia na madam samaje peni be kuti samo ekoso our political highway so aha POG Media medamasi.